Just look at these weapons in Destiny 1. These are vendor weapons, dude, and they brought us a whole ton of excitement. Today, guys, I want to talk about random rolls, and this, of course, feels like an age-old discussion. I know, and I don't need to explain the basics of it to you guys, but if I could get one thing from you, it would be awesome, because it really helps me to understand and represent how you guys feel and what kind of feedback needs to keep being pushed forward. So I want to say a few things, but I'm simply asking for a like for random rolls or a dislike if you prefer the current system. Unlike other platforms, you guys are already on this page watching the video, so if you could give that one extra click to show your opinion, then that would be amazing, because this is an opportunity to give a substantial indication of how Destiny players feel, which is a big deal because, of course, this is an important issue whichever side of the fence you're on. Firstly though, I wanted to give some thoughts on how random rolls did have some issues in the first place, but also how compromise between D1 and D2 systems could have been the more elegant solution. So in D1, we had some rarish weapon drops. Let's take the good old IS Luna. Now on this weapon, there was a set of around maybe 6 to 8 perks, which most players would consider good or as an actual god roll. Now, a lot of players wanted one of these. It didn't really matter whether you played an hour a week or 6 hours a day. The thing about IS Luna is that it actually had 45 possible perks and bonuses, including sights, stat perks, and intrinsic perks, which could roll on the weapon. So naturally, that's pretty extreme. I can't personally complain because I enjoyed the hunt for great weapons, and I know that a lot of other people did too. You guys know that I'm a big supporter of random rolls. However, that doesn't take away from the fact that for someone who's very time limited, it would have felt basically impossible to get some of these weapons, especially good rolls of these weapons. Now, I still think that Bungie made a detrimental decision when they completely removed perk randomization. I really do. I do also believe though that when you have two conflicting opinions in a player base, that some level of compromise should be targeted. Compromise isn't always easy, but I think in the case of weapons, it doesn't have to be all that difficult. So I think there are 3 important considerations. Firstly, perk balance. So in D2, things like Look in the Chamber, Hidden Hand, Shot Package, all of these perks are gone. Secondly, stat perks from before, things like Rifle Barrel, are now way less influential in general, and some of the elements that made god rolls unfair to begin with have already been reworked or removed, so you could call that a compromise in respect of random rolls. Next though, vendor rolls. We have vendors in the game. These can be utilized to offer new rolls of weapons to everybody. They did it in D1 and it was awesome. The excitement from players each week was just insane. I can remember logging on, seeing a whole ton of people at those vendors. I used to get 40k views per week on a vendor video when I had like 20k subs, and that is saying something. Again though, compromise. You don't need 40 vendor weapons up each week in order to do this. Iron Banner used to bring new rolls to everybody. Arms Day brought new rolls to everybody. So in some instances, I don't think it's reasonable to say that things weren't fairly available to players with some level of investment. I'll talk more about vendor gear actually being exciting in a moment, but the third point is random weapon drops in the game. This is where things do get trickier. Again, IS Luna is the example. We don't need 45 possible perks in order to have perk or even roll randomization. We could be in a place where there were 5 to 10 possible combinations which could drop, and even then there could be systems implemented to re-roll with some level of investment or even time gating so that players who invest could ultimately earn a particular version of a weapon. Of course, there is an issue when people feel completely hopeless or feel like they need to play for 40 hours a week in order to attain something. At the same time though, like in D1, the right balance of investment and reward goes a very long way in terms of engaging players. Sometimes things need to be hard to get, and the quality of the reward needs to scale to that difficulty. In an investment game, things can't always be fair, and sometimes when you get this balance wrong or fail to compromise on it completely, you end up in a bad place, and I think D2 is a prime example of this. So those are the 3 main points I would make on the subject of compromise between the 2 different systems we've seen. Now, some folks will say that this will be pointless because it's still going to be too easy to get these weapons, or that there aren't enough perks, or that the perks aren't good enough, and I actually agree. Random rolls would only work if Bungie increased the pool of actual desirable perks in the game so that you could make at least 4 or 5 exciting versions of a weapon. The sandbox element is also important. Weapons need to feel powerful. perks need to feel influential. On the subject of how easy things would be to attain, I think we need to be realistic about the situation. I think Bungie are still going to stick to their philosophy here personally, so really, we make our argument much stronger when we consider the different types of player in the community and how these changes will affect everybody differently. I think most of us, rationally thinking, would agree that a compromise between the D1 and D2 systems would certainly be better than how things currently are. I'd also say that changing the perk roll system in the game is not an all-in-one fix. There are many things which need vast improvement in Destiny 2, but remember the importance of loot and possibility in D1. There is a reason that people play D1, and there is a reason that D2 is struggling in comparison. This subject is a significant part of that conversation. So guys, you don't have to agree with the implementation, but I think it would be very valuable if you could vote down below using the ratings. If you want random perks on weapons and armor in any way whatsoever, let's see a like below. If you like how it is right now, or feel that random rolls would actually damage your experience, then hit that dislike button. On top of this though, definitely drop some comments below with the kind of systems you'd like to see here or any ideas that you have. Like I said, it does feel like a tired subject at times, but I still think it's a very important one, and these are system considerations that absolutely have to happen going into the updates throughout the rest of this year. So I'm gonna leave it there, guys. Let me know your thoughts. Definitely try and give me a rating down below. I'd be really curious to see the kind of substance of, or the scale of a reaction we could get on this. And once again, like I said, it helps me to represent what you guys think is important. For now though, I appreciate you listening to me as always. I appreciate you engaging in the content, guys, and continuing the conversation. It's really awesome that we can have, so many vibrant conversations about Destiny 2 and try and stick on the optimistic side of things, Anyway, you guys have an awesome day, whatever you do. I appreciate you watching, and I'll catch you very soon.